Now, XDA has a great article here for a lot of people trying to demystify some of the myths, right, that manufacturers put on boxes and put in trailers and commercials and all this kind of stuff to try and convince us that you need a card that has this in it. So, do you need a PCI Express 5 video card, the latest PCI Express? Probably not. It will be a little bit faster, but real world gaming performance, the difference between PCI Express 3, 4, and even the latest 5 is very minimal, typically in the range of 1 to 4%. But you know what? Some people will still go out and get a PCI Express 5 video card, and maybe they will because they think it's faster and they can sleep better at night. Something it will do, though, is kind of future proof of the purchase. Even new RTX 50 series, as well as the AMD RX 90 series GPUs, which support PCI Express 5, will run flawlessly on older PCI Express slots. So if you have an older motherboard, you don't have to worry, even if your card is, fancy and it's PCI Express 5, you can slap it into your motherboard as long as your power supply is powerful enough to supply enough juice to your brand new video card. And if you are getting an RTX 5090 or a 5080, make sure that in fact is the case. But no, you don't need to have a video card, a GPU that has, PCI Express 5. You won't see much of a difference. Now, does more VRAM, more memory on your GPU mean more performance? Well, yes and no. You need enough VRAM. And what I mean by that is, if you were to think that you could go out and buy a brand new RTX 5060 Ti video card with 8 gigabytes and it's going to perform the same as that video card that has 16 gigabytes of VRAM, no, it is not. I mean, it does kind of depend on the game that you are playing, but they are right about more VRAM does not necessarily mean that it's going to perform more, but you need enough. And if you don't, yes, you will see a major performance difference. You'll see games stuttering and have all kinds of problems. Some games won't even run unless you have enough VRAM. So keep that in mind. Now, another big myth is the fact that many people think when they purchase a premium name, like for example, Asus, MSI, Zotac, Gigabyte, when they go out and get one of these GPUs, they're much better. They're going to be much faster, even though it's the same video card, like for example, that you could get Founders Edition in maybe a pre-built system like a Dell Alienware system or something like that, right? So they think that's going to be a lot faster, a lot better overall. And that's not true. It will be maybe 5-6% faster. And if that is important to you, then, get at it and go out and spend the money. And there's going to be obviously a premium price attached to these so-called premium video cards. But no, don't think that you're going to go out and buy, the same video card really, and you're going to get like 20% faster performance. Now, to be fair, some of these name brand video cards, they do look fancy. So there is that. Now, do you need to have a power supply that is really overkill for your video card and your entire system? No, you do not. The only reason you would need to go out and get a power supply that you don't need really, that's going to be 400 watts beyond what you actually need, is to future-proof your purchase, right? So you keep the same power supply for a decade or something. I don't know. But if you're not doing that, then there is no reason to match up, a super, like a 1600 watt power supply with a RTX 5070 build. You're just throwing away your money. Again, unless you want to future proof, or you're thinking that, yeah, I can afford this now, and maybe later on down the road, I'll get an RTX 5090. Well, that's completely different. But don't waste your money. Get a really high end, quality, platinum certified power supply that meets your requirements, and you really don't need to get any more. Now, ray tracing is to some very important, to others, it's not important at all. To some, though, they require NVIDIA's ray tracing technologies, which, if done right in games, is spectacular. I have an RTX 4090 video card, and every game that I can turn ray tracing on, I turn it on, along with all the other settings, usually maxed out. I have to say, I do like my eye candy in games, and as high as a game can go when it comes to visual fidelity, I want to experience that. But that isn't for everybody. And let's be fair, video card prices have gone up tremendously. And let's face it, the prices of video cards these days have gone absolutely insane. And to get a video card, like I said, to have all the eye candy on with ray tracing, and not use, all these AI upscaling technologies, you need a high-end, very expensive video card, unfortunately. All you can do really is make a very, very, very informed decision on your GPU purchase. What I would recommend is look at your budget, maybe go a little bit above your budget and get something that's going to future-proof your purchase, but also something that you're really going to be happy and content with. And keep in mind as well, if you're thinking about playing a certain game, like maybe a month or two from now, and you know how demanding that's going to be on your video card, get a video card that's going to be able to handle that particular game, because you will be very, very disappointed. So research, research, and research.